Hey y'all, this is Beasley TV coming to y'all with a little something. And this is a debate between a liberal and a conservative. And I just want y'all to see how well the conservative arguments are and how more based in emotion and not based in fact or a calculated argument that the liberal correspondent is using. Check it out.
Apartheid, not anywhere close to that. When you're talking about police brutality, how big of a problem is that in the black community, really? It's an issue, yes, but you got to talk about the lowest of the low. It's low on the totem pole as other issues are. You're talking about black on black violence, you're talking about hypertension, diabetes, those kind of things, drug addiction, those kind of things are much more serious than the low hanging fruit of police brutality. So violence, to stop it, I don't think it's the answer at all. And really, you have been much more violence committed against black people as a result of all these so-called protests than the police did in 2019.
Reese, to what extent will the violence that we've seen over the last days and weeks, to what extent will the protests actually be detracted from the Black Lives Matter movement and its message, do you think?
Can you say that a little louder?
Sure, Reese. Yeah, I'm just talking about what we've been seeing over the last few weeks, the violence that have accompanied these protests. Will that detract a lot, overwhelmingly, from the message that Black Lives Matter are trying to say out there?
Absolutely not. And here's why. Let me explain something to you. When you start talking about what's important to the lives of black people and you start to say things like hypertension and high blood pressure are more important, you're making a mockery of the fact that any time a black person has an encounter with the state in the form of the police, that their life, their very life, is put on the line and they are in fear of whether or not they're going to walk away from that encounter or they're going to be buried. At that moment, that's not just a matter of, oh, well, it's a matter of my health or we have other priorities. Every encounter a black person has with the state in the form of the police could very well end their life. That's not a small matter. That's not something to be minimized. And the violence that we see right now is the response of a people who have said enough is enough. Is enough, is enough, and we are tired, and we will take no more.
Logic is based in
there
emotion,
is no
and they are
issue when you see the violence because it's literally the people speaking up and saying that they cannot continue.
Donald Trump's comments made matters worse. This is a quote: "When the looting starts, the shooting starts." He's using a direct quote from a very controversial former Miami police chief there.
Well, it's a fact. I mean, when he said that, people have already been shot for looting. I think it might have been at least 2 people that had got shot for looting. So what he said was just a fact. When the looting starts, the shooting starts. You're going to protect your property. You're going to protect yourself. And a lot of the black businesses are being looted, and a lot of black people are firing back at the black and white, whatever color they are, so-called protesters, really rioters that are looting their businesses. Okay, I'm seeing all kind of stories all over the nation. Up there in Minneapolis, you got a black couple that are trying to start a sports bar. You got black folks in there, so-called protesting, really just destroying their bar. And they're trying to say, hey, we're black owned. They don't really care. These people don't care. The violence, people that are engaging in violence don't care about Black Lives Matter. They don't care about George Floyd. They don't care about anything related to the black community. All they're trying to do is just smash and grab, take things to sell, and just engage in general chaos. All
those
this
people are
violence
ignorant.
is for no other reason
people are ignorant.
To be self-serving to those that are doing it, not
why
to
would
help
you be burning
black
those
people.
down?
How are you going to say you're helping black folks when you're hurting black folks with the violence?
I don't have a problem with rioting because at this point,
protests are hitting, for example,
black people are trying to figure out the solutions
the looting
for what's going on.
exacerbating an already difficult situation.
Let's be clear about one thing. There are 3 people or 3 individuals that you will see present in this experience. You will see the protester, you will see the rioter, and you will see the looter. Those are 3 separate characteristics of individuals. First of all, the protesters are there to speak up about the issue. The rioters are there because they have had enough. They're emotionally upset, overwhelmed, whether it's because of being in the house for 3 months due to COVID, or they're personally tied to this matter and they're really upset about it because of George Floyd individually or someone else that they know or they themselves that have been targeted by police brutality. And then there are indeed looters. Now, here's the issue. There have been videotapes of provocateurs coming from outside of local areas that are caught on camera, and some of them have been white males that have been covered in black garb coming to neighborhoods and harming those neighborhoods, and they're from outside. In certain states, we had one of the mayors say that every single person that was arrested that evening was from out of state. So a lot of what's going on is something more so than the actual people who are giving voice to the issue. These aren't the protesters.
Well, my colleague here just said that you have out-of-state people coming in, trying to rabble-rouse, trying to do things that they shouldn't be doing, okay? So they're in the mix with those that are there that are trying to be, quote-unquote, peaceful. So they're there. So the police have to have a strong presence. They got to have the uniform. They got to have their equipment. They got to be armed because you're going to have violence from these outside forces and also the inside forces.
Looters don't help
so at a certain
anything.
point,
I
it's kind
agree
of
with
hard
that.
to tell. If you got 5,000 individuals out there in the street, some are peaceful, some are violent, some are looting, some are shooting. You can't really tell who is who. So you got to have the police out there for everyone to ensure everyone's safety, because let's be clear, if not for the police being out here trying to calm these situations down, you would have a lot more black lives taken than those that were taken by the looters and the shooters and the rioters and the so-called protesters, all in the name of George Floyd, all in the name of Black Lives Matter. If Black Lives Matter, I can't tell.
Reese, do you see anything about the tragic death of this man being exploited in any way? Do you see anything in the timing that there's a presidential election coming up? We know that the presidency of Barack Obama was billed as a transitional moment for America. We had the same issues, didn't we, over that time, but nothing really was done about it, yet it's coming to light all of a sudden now.
See, right there, you can see the emotion she's about to spew when it comes to this question that he asked. And he, the other conservative, the conservative, knew exactly when the question came out how she was going to react.
With the United States in the form of local police, and their lives have been extinguished. Because of the fact we're not going to minimize that, we are not going to allow anyone to bring up things, buildings being burned or stores being destroyed. We're not going to allow that to be brought up as something that's of equal parity, okay? We're not going to allow anything to be brought up to say that it's more important than the life of my child or your child or any other black person in America coming into contact with the state and being a state-sanctioned murder, i.e. execution, hanging, or whatever the term is used.
Is that very often that happens?
Modern-day lynching. We are not going to allow. You know what? Here's the thing about it, ABL. If it were your sister, if it were your brother,
she's not leaning toward logic, even though her emotion is justified.
And so at this point, we've had hundreds of black people come in contact and have state-sanctioned murders, and we've said enough is enough. One was enough. At this point, we're at hundreds. We're at literally over 400. We've reached a critical mass.
400.
We've had enough.
Go ahead, Anthony.
We've had in the last couple.
Yeah. Go ahead, Reese. Go ahead.
No, Anthony, go ahead. You can reply.
Okay, yeah, I don't know about the numbers there. I mean,
do you want me to start with the Wilmington insurrection, the Red Summer, Tulsa race riots? What we've had are state-sanctioned
Tulsa, 100 years ago. What are we talking about? 100 years ago or right now?
I think she made a mistake here by going back way 100 years to bring up an event. She should have picked a more current event because against conservatives,
let's talk about what's going on right now, though. We're talking about what's happening.
A very weak point, and they're going to debate that, and then they're going to kill that point.
We've had hundreds of people lose their life and their liberty recently. Now, is it because is it more prominent because it's during an election year? No, this has been happening for hundreds of years for black people. Anytime blacks have economically empowered themselves or politically empowered themselves or just been doing too well in this country, there has been a blowback. There has been
We're just running
And
out of
so
time.
what we have
Because
here
I want to get
are
your
people saying
final.
we're-
Thanks, Reese. I just want to get your final thoughts, both of you, because it has been a spirited debate. Anthony, just starting with you, do you see any hope for what's happening now, that it might bring about a kind of radical change, that even though it's messy and it's graphic at the moment, that something good might come out of it?
No, I don't see anything good that can come of it. I think what's happening now, they're trying to defund the police, or what they say, they're trying to break apart the police.
What?
That's going to be the wrong thing, because in the black community, a lot of these poor, low-income communities, the police are the last
More
bastion
police
of hope.
is not the answer.
But these people that are
Less
trying to do
police
that, they don't
is
care
not
if
the
the
answer.
black-on-black murder
That's
rate
the truth.
quadruples. They don't really care, as long as they can say, oh, well, there was no police involved shooting up a black person. They don't care if the black-on-black homicide number goes from 7,000 a year to 25,000. They don't care,
ABL,
because
there's no such
it's all
thing
about
as
trying to push a
black-on-black
particular
crime.
narrative.
Stop it.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Let's not play that game. You got 13% of the population, but half of murders and half of murderers. Let's not play that game.
Reese, the final 20 seconds to you.
The bottom line is that right now there is an insurrection in this country, and we have to be careful about the words that are used. When it's black people, it's rioters and looters. When it's been people who were trying to bring change, it's been called insurrection and rebellions. That's where we are right now. This is a critical mass. People are standing up. This is a insurrection, and people are trying to make a change in the country in the way that we are policed, so that police brutality does not snuff out another innocent life, another unarmed man, woman, or child.
And this is where I feel as though she had some valid points, but the way she was delivering them was not as strong, was not as sharp, was not as keen as the conservative pundit. The way he delivered was way better, and he was asking questions to challenge her sentiments that she wasn't asking to challenge in his sentiments. She didn't really attack his sentiments. So I believe that's why she lost the debate. Hit me up at my Instagram. Follow, like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.